this will actually show you. So I've been trying to learn using AccuRC YouTube videos on how to do some different stuff. One is, I think it's a cyclone. So I'm trying to learn it. Zoom in a little bit so we can see the helicopter better. So, see, we're getting there. But then I get into this. I need to figure out how not to just do that. Although it looks cool. There we go. But I'm getting better. And all of that is due to the simulator. I don't know what else I can say other than I went from not being able to do that to being able to do that because of the simulator. Welcome back, I'm TJ. Today we're talking AccuRC 2.0, so simulator. Most notably, amazing for helicopters. AccuRC 3.0 will be out sometime in the future, near future, I'm not really sure, but they're actually going to be coming out with some different stuff that's going to be pretty awesome. So if you have AccuRC, keep an eye out for that. If you don't, take a look at it, man. I'm not, I'm not being paid to say any of this. My motivation, honestly, with the simulator was the fact that they have the Ohio Model Products M2 V2 and M2 Explorer in the sim. They look incredible, and my biggest motivation is wanting to get better as a helicopter pilot because I'm doing these videos for our products and I can't fly them near like the guys over at the factory are able to do. So I want to grow, and in order to do that, I can't just take my helicopter out and break it every single day, although I've actually been told I could. I really don't want to do that because that's not fun for me. So AccuRC, that's where this comes into play. It's actually a simulator. It's right in the name, Precision Simulator. And what the idea is you get the sim, you plug in your transmitters, which we're using the Radio Master TX16S. This one's all nice and pretty. We'll have a video on the new ones here coming up soon. And actually, I'm going to do a video on the setup process with the Radio Master in AccuRC. So if you're not subscribed, click the button subscribe, get notifications coming so you can see when that video actually goes live. It'll be in a few days. But the idea with the simulator, like I said, it does have the M2 in it, and from what I understand from other people, because in my opinion it flies great, but my skill level's not where it should be to really give that opinion. So from what I've been told, that they do a really good job of making the flight characteristics, really similar from the simulator to real life. And one thing that I really do love about this is, well, let's just dive right in. One thing I really do love about this is the fact that there is so much you can change. So just in the model selection, you can see all these different helicopters. They do have drones. They got a few airplanes. But for instance, M2 Explorer and just the M2. So this is your M2 V2, your M2 Explorer. Let's dive into the V2. So we'll go straight into the workbench. Workbench, you can change pieces, parts. You can change the canopy, different colors. You can change the tail motor, different colors. Because in the V2, the tail motor and the main motor are color coordinated for the helicopter. You can go into the flight controller, change all the different settings. Like it's incredible the amount of detail that you can go into this. So you can click around, move your camera, zoom in, zoom out, right click on a piece if you want, or just do what I'm doing. So first thing, I want to change it to the orange because I like the orange. So click the canopy, hit change. And actually, yeah, it's just the orange. I have the M2 Explorer green one, but whatever. So M2 orange, canopy, apply, go down to the motor, I'm going to change the motor to the orange motor, apply, tail motors here somewhere, change to orange, apply. So still need the blades and the landing gear, change orange, apply, and blades. Pick those. So it looks like the orange M2 now, which is cool, but you can also come down here and change, if you hit the hues, you can pretty much go just about any color you want. Like they do a really good job on giving you options there's my orange. So I click the white again to clear off those changes and give me my orange color again. You can turn the canopy on and off. You got a pitch gauge, so you can actually come in here and zoom out where I'm at. There we go. I don't know enough about that to really talk about it. Just there's a pitch gauge, and if you move your stick, you can see the numbers change. So we'll turn that back off. I got my visual transmitter on over here, so you can see my stick movements as we're actually out flying. Skeleton view. What's that? Oh, it's a skeleton view. Okay. Turn that off. Dual ESC. So if you click the ESC, you can change kind of your idle up modes. So 1, 2, 3, all of those, and you can set those up. Like I said, I fly default. I haven't changed anything in this. So I just go in, I tell it that I want to fly the 3D preset, and I go with it. Now you can come in here and change your curves for idle up modes right here if you want. Then on your flybarless here, click that. This is where it can get really intense, or be like me and just leave it alone. So flybarless mode, you can change. This is your presets: beginner, sport, aerobatic, 3D. You got all your different, so agility, exponential. Man, there's so much. Again, like I said, this is a true simulator. It's amazing what you can actually do. The tuning 2, so page 2, gains, your throws, pass through, and actually what we'll do. So I've got notes, I've got cheat sheets here. So, and what it is they actually went through and told me what specifically on the M2 flight controller. So the M2 flight controller is fully programmable, fully adjustable. You can go out to the field using, well, I've got a video. If you haven't seen how to adjust the flight controller on the M2, check out that video. It walks you through on how to actually change the settings. Not necessarily what settings to change, that's up to you, but it shows you how to do it. And those settings, you can change them in the simulator as well, but they're not called the same. So for instance, on the flight controller, the speed for the elevator and the aileron would be the cyclic, I don't know what it's called. Cyclic, I think it's it. Agility. So aileron, elevator speed would be this one here. Your agility would be pass through, which is the second page. And so agility would be, how much cyclic, and I need to figure that out, is directly applied to the swash to change how aggressively the model responds. So you change this to determine how aggressively your model responds. And they also say for this small of a helicopter, keep it between 0 and 30%. Your speed, so your agility back here on page 1, that is for how quickly the model rotates at full deflection. We got gains for your elevator and aileron, which that is just your gains. So aileron gain, elevator gain right here. And that one is more stabilization. So the higher the number, the more stabilized, the stiffer it's going to, more stabilization. You get the idea. The higher the number says it can lead to wobbles. So adjust accordingly. And again, on here, it's suggested 0 to 35% is generally what you're looking for in this size helicopter. And then your pitch. So to change your pitch would be the collective throws 1 and 2 here. They say it's already set to reasonable levels. If you know what you're doing, you can probably adjust things accordingly. And otherwise, it's just, you can see all these settings here. It's exponential, discharge speed, self-leveling gain, governor collective, adjustment, aileron gain, elevator gain, throws 1, 2, pass through, aileron stop dampening, elevator stop dampening. Don't know any of this stuff left. So servo reverses, endpoints, trim, collective corrector, gyro tuning, tuning. Have you not figured out there's so much you can actually change, but you don't need to? So my personal opinion, perfect for beginners, because you can literally jump in here without changing anything. So once we get done with this, helicopter is orange like we wanted. You can just click right here and hit fly. So it's going to throw us into a field, which there are a bunch of different sceneries you can use. They have an update coming out for Halloween that I saw some kind of pictures for that looks awesome. And let's beat this. And with that being said, though, the cool thing with that is there's going to be a sale on AccuRC for Halloween. So if you don't have this simulator yet and you're looking to get it, keep an eye out on Steam, because they will have a sale coming up soon. So on here you can see on the right side we got RPM 1, so auto up 1, 2, 3. I've got that on a switch. Throttle hold again on a switch. Dual rates, expos, it's on or off, so low rates, high rate type thing. Rescue mode, the way rescue mode works is pretty much if you lose orientation, if you're like me, I just let the thing hit the dirt. Who cares, right? The simulator. But I've got it on my momentary switch that if I wanted to, and I lost orientation, I can just hit that switch and hold it. If it's inverted, it's going to stay inverted, and it's just going to gain altitude. If it's right side up, it's going to stay there, but it's just going to level out and gain altitude. So it's just kind of like a fail-safe to help you keep track of it. Over on the left, you got your visual TX, which is the little transmitter on the bottom right that I have turned on. Virtual TX, don't really mess with that myself. I've turned it on, but I've never really done anything with it. Wow, lag. You can go into tail. You can change some settings for your tail here, your fly barless. Like I said, these are the presets. You can change some of the settings here. Obviously not as much as you can in the workbench, but for myself, I just leave it on 3D and go with it. You know, I don't really see a point in lowering and starting out at a beginner and working my way up. Just dump into the Jeep end. That's apparently what I wanted to say. Jump in to the deep end and just fly it. Weather, you can change weather and wind directions. I've left it alone, like I said. HUD, just for FPSs and things like that. I don't really turn that on. And then if you use your mouse wheel, you can actually zoom in and out. For these little helicopters, you can zoom in a little bit to help you. We'll zoom in and take off here. Let you take a look at the M2. So one thing that I did notice is the motor's not spinning, the main motor. And what it is it was like, you know, I did ask about it and said that it would be possible to make it spin. However, then we wouldn't really be able to change the colors or anything. So they chose the option of just leaving it stationary and allowing you to kind of change the looks. But man, it looks so good. So now as far as settings go, I have this turned pretty high. I think I've got most of the settings on ultra, one maybe turned down pretty low, but otherwise it's mainly just, you know, trying to make it look as good as I could while recording. But from what I've seen, you can turn these settings way down, still get the experience of the simulator if you don't have a good computer, and have a really good experience to learn, because when I started, that's what I wanted. It was less about how the game looked or how the simulator looked, and more about learning how the controls reacted. So with that being said, we'll zoom out a little bit and fly it around. So that's all the way zoomed out, taking in a notch or two just to get the better feel of it. And like I said, man, a week ago I couldn't do any of this. I could like do a roll, but I would lose orientation and not know what I'm doing. So personally, I'm still working on orientations inverted and being able to fly around. You know, for normal flight, scale flight, I've done a lot of line of sight quadcopters. So I've got that better. But the idea is, if you want to learn how to fly, get yourself a simulator and I'm really enjoying this. All of us here are, and like I said, we're not paid to say any of this. One other thing that I forgot to mention is if you are brand new, say you've never messed with a helicopter before in your life, it may be hard to, well, really just jump right into it, like I was saying, as far as, you know, just throw into it, start playing with collective, flipping it upside down, all of that. And maybe you actually do need to ease into it because you've never flown anything like this. You know, you don't know what left and right, forward and back does, none of that. So you want to tone it down. Now you can actually go in and set it up. Let me see if we can do it in here. So you can go into the workbench and turn on, is it the workbench? Let's find out here. So yeah, you can go into the workbench and you can turn on active stabilization. I think it's the workbench, we're gonna figure it out. So yeah, right here in the workbench, you can do gyro mode and do active stability. And then come up here to turn on beginner. Beginner, all it does is kind of soft, well, you could see the actual settings change, but it softens kind of your negative collective. So it makes it a little bit easier. So we're gonna go beginner and active stability and then go right back into flying. And it's gonna allow you to have the stabilization. So if you let go of the right stick, it's gonna level the helicopter back out. And that's gonna allow you to have to fight it less. So you can see if I bump the right stick and let go, helicopter levels itself out. And that it does a good job of letting you get a feel of the controls on how things move around. Don't learn like this. And it's nothing against it, but it's really okay to get used to what direction does what. But once you have that feel, turn that stuff off. Because all that's going to do is slow down your process or your progress. So come back in. I thought we could change it right here. But so come back in, turn off the stability mode. You can leave it on beginner if you want to, but to not start any bad habits, try as best as you can to at least keep that active stability off. So normal gyro mode, close, go back to flying. But that way you grow with it faster than if you kept the training wheels on. And that's pretty much all it is. You know, it's like putting training wheels on a bike. Yeah, you're gonna learn how to ride a bike, you're gonna learn how to pedal and steer it, but you're not truly gonna learn how to ride it until you get those training wheels off. So the faster you can do that, the better. So another thing we have in here is if we go back to home, you can come through, there's training, which this is gonna help you kind of, well, let's just show you. So tail in, nose in, side in, inverted for hover. And just like it says, it's gonna set these different things up and it's gonna say, do this. And you're gonna have to do this. So tail in, hover, start, I'll just show you. And it's literally gonna tell you, you gotta hover over this circle with a tail towards you. And it's gonna time it, and once you pass 100%, then concentrate. See, that's what's funny. Is like, so hover training complete. So that one's good, and we can keep on rolling with it. It does a good job on, you know, helping you learn how to do the different types of hovering, which is a big thing. I'm still working on that myself, obviously, because I was just all over the place. Again, follow side to side, forward and back, figure eights, target size, distance, speed. So it's a very good tool, and that's the biggest thing to take away from this is it's a tool. You know, if you're going to be serious in the hobby, or not even serious, you just want to grow and get better, this is going to be a big thing to use. We talked about models, scenery. There is a bunch of different types of places. You know, like the IRCHA Center Stage, Island, Lee Runway, Olympic Stadium. They have other things coming out. like I said, I saw a thing for Halloween coming out here soon. Just a lot of cool stuff, man. Racetracks, so you can see they actually have some cars in this as well. I haven't messed with those myself yet, but having options is cool. Statistics, I've crashed 365 times. Let's see if that's accurate. Let's fly again. Let's crash some more just to see. I guess I could turn off the simulator or the training, huh? Alright, so there's a crash. Let's zoom back out. So there's one more. Another one. This will actually show you. So I've been trying to learn using AccuRC YouTube videos on how to do some different stuff. One is, I think it's a cyclone. So I'm trying to learn it. Zoom in a little bit so we can see the helicopter better. So, see, we're getting there. But then I get into this. I need to figure out how not to just do that. Although it looks cool. There we go. But I'm getting better. And all of that is due to the simulator. I don't know what else I can say other than I went from not being able to do that to being able to do that because of the simulator. It's a huge deal, man. So another cool thing about it is the fact that there is online. So if you know people that have the simulator as well, you can come in here, create a room, create a session, have other people come in, fly together. You know, if you have Discord, you can jump on, talk to each other. Like, there's a lot of really cool things, and that's another thing that I like is the community aspect of actually being able to get together and fly. And with wintertime coming up, it might be a good outlet to not just say, oh, we're not doing anything till the spring. You know, why not? Like, I actually might end up doing that. You know, what if you think, you know, having like an online thing, say like every Friday or, you know, once every couple weeks where we set up a room, we get together, whether it's in this simulator or another one, and just coming in and flying together. You know, if that's something you think would be cool, let me know. We might be able to actually work that out. And then just real quick in settings, we can see what the graphics level looks like here. So ultra high, resolution. Yeah, so this one here is the one I've got set to low. Everything else is pretty much maxed out or turned on. And another good thing is, if you crash, it resets and you fly again. The biggest positive for the simulator is if you crash, I mean, you just slam it into the dirt, who cares? You learn. That's what it's made for, is to be able to crash over and over and over and not invest in more pieces and parts. So I'm toying, when I say we here at OMPHobby, we are toying with the idea of working with AccuRC directly to offer discounts for the simulator. Now, I don't really know how that's going to look, don't even know if it's going to work, but the idea that I'm really wanting to do is give people a way to learn how to fly, especially since the M2 and soon to be M1 have went to a lot of beginners. And, you know, a huge shout out to you guys for trusting us with your start into the hobby. You know, we want to really be there to help you grow. And, you know, by that, since you guys have been supporting us so well, we want to support you in trying to work with AccuRC to get you guys, you know, discounts for the simulator to help you, you know, grow in the hobby. Because if you do well in it, you're going to keep flying, and if you keep flying, you keep supporting us, and it's a win-win for everybody. So, you know, other than that, there's really nothing else to talk too much about. The simulator's amazing. I'm really loving it. Everybody here is. I'm growing with it, and that was my biggest motivation for this video, was the fact that the simulator is so good that I'm able to go from not really knowing what I'm doing to feeling more and more confident with something a few weeks ago would make me a nervous wreck to even think about doing. So otherwise, guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate you subscribing, coming back and checking us out week in and week out. And that's it. I'm going to keep flying. If you don't have AccuRC, check it out. Links in the description.